Hello everyone, welcome back to our favorite YouTube channel, Privacy Prodigy. गोपनीयतेचा संरक्षण. Today we are taking a strategic a deep dive into EU AI Act, European Union Artificial Intelligence Act, and Global Data Privacy Essentials. A complete compliance masterclass. In this session, we will break down the latest regulatory developments, key compliance requirements, and global privacy trends, all simplified and structured to help you stay ahead with confidence. Understanding the European Union Artificial Intelligence Act. Model 2. Understanding the EU AI Act. European Union Artificial Intelligence Act. Lesson 1. GDPR explain global data privacy essentials. GDPR essentials. Hello everyone and welcome back to Privacy Prodigy's course series, EUA Act and Global Data Privacy Essentials, a complete compliance masterclass. In today's episode, we are diving deep into one of the world's most powerful and influential privacy as laws, the General Data Protection Regulation or GDPR. Whether you are an absolute beginner or working professionals in tech, risk, security, and compliance. This lesson will give you a crystal clear understanding of what a GDPR really is, why it matters, and how it affects organizations all over the world. GDPR Essentials EU AI Act European Union Artificial Intelligence Act and Global Data Privacy Essentials, a complete compliance masterclass. In today's episode, we are diving deep into one of the world's most powerful and influential privacy laws, the General Data Protection Regulation or GDPR. Whether you are an absolute beginner or a working professional in a tech, risk, security, or compliance, this lesson will give you a crystal clear understanding of what a GDPR really is, why it matters, and how it affects organizations all over the world. What is GDPR? So, what exactly is the GDPR? The General Data Protection Regulation is a landmark privacy law enacted by the European Union. It governs how personal data is collected, stored, processed, and shared. And it came into effect on May 25, 2018. GDPR is often called the strongest privacy law on the planet, and for good reason. It reshaped the global privacy landscape and forced forced companies to rethink how they handle personal information. What is the GDPR? The General Data Protection Regulation. GDPR is a comprehensive privacy and data protection law enacted by the European Union EU that governs the collection, the storage, processing, and sharing of personal data of individuals within the EU, European Union. It came into effect on May 25, 2018 and is considered one of the world's most stringent privacy regulations. The General Data Protection Regulation or GDPR by European Union EU Privacy and a Data Protection Law effective since May 25, 2018 governs personal data collection, storage and processing, applies globally, not only in EU. Key features of the GDPR. First, a scope and applicability applies to organizations operating within the European Union EU and to organizations outside the EU if they process personal data of individuals located in the EU extra territorial scope covers all types of the personal data including names, emails, IP addresses, address, health data, financial information and more. Key features of the GDPR, scope and applicability. One of the most powerful things about the GDPR is its extraterritorial scope. It does not just apply to companies inside Europe. It applies to any organization anywhere in the world if they process the personal data of people located in the EU. So whether you are a startup in Bangalore, a SaaS company in the US, or a fintech in Dubai, if you handle EU personal data, GDPR applies to you. Key features of the GDPR, the seven core principles of the GDPR and the heart of the GDPR are seven core principles. These are not optional. Every organization must follow them. The seven core principles of GDPR. One, lawfulness, fairness, and transparency. Two, purpose limitation. Three, data minimization. Four, accuracy. Fifth, storage limitation. Six, integrity and confidentiality. Security. Seven, accountability. One, a lawfulness, a fairness, and a transparency. Organizations must process the data legally, fairly, and with complete transparency. No hidden tricks. Two, purpose limitation. Collect data only for a specific and clear purpose, not just in a case. Three, data minimization. Collect only what you need, nothing more. Four, accuracy. Data must be correct, updated, and not misleading. 5. A storage limitation. Don't keep personal data forever. Delete it when its purpose is fulfilled. 6. Integrity and confidentiality security. Data must be protected with a strong technical and security measures. 7. Accountability. Organizations must prove their compliance documentation is mandatory. 3. Rights of data subjects. GDPR grants individuals several rights over the personal data, including 3. Rights of data subjects. 1. Right to access. Second, right to rectification. 3. Right to erasure. Right to be forgotten. Fourth, right to be restrict processing. Fifth, right to data portability. Sixth, right to object. 7. Right related to automated decision making. 3. Rights of data subjects. GDPR grants individuals several rights over their personal data, including a right to access. Individuals can request access to their personal data and information about its processing. Rights to rectification. Individuals can request corrections to incorrect or incomplete data. Right to erasure. Right to be forgotten. Individuals can request the deletion of their data under certain condition. The right to restrict processing. Individuals can limit the processing of their data. Right to data portability. Individuals can obtain and reuse their data for other services. Right to object. Individuals can object to data processing for a specific purpose, such as a marketing. Rights related to automated decision making. Individuals can challenge decisions made slowly through automated process, including profiling. Right to access. You can ask any company what data they hold about you. Right to rectification. You can correct wrong or incomplete data. Right to erasure. Right to be forgotten. You can demand a deletion of your data under certain conditions. Right to restrict processing. You can pause how your data is used. Right to object. You can say no to data being used for things like marketing. Right against automated decisions and profiling. People can challenge a decision made entirely by AI or algorithms. These rights and put control back into the hands of the individual, not the organization. Right to data portability. You can take your data and more it to another service like shifting banks. 4. Consent and legal basis. Organizations must obtain clear, informed, and explicit consent to process personal data unless another legal basis applies, such as a contractual, a necessity, a legal obligation, or a legitimate interest. A legal basis and consent. A GDPR requires organization to have a legal basis for processing personal data. Consent is one of them, but it's not the only one. A GDPR requires organization to have a legal basis for processing personal data. Other legal bases include contract, legal obligation, vital interest, public interest, legitimate interest. But when consent is used, it must be informed, explicit, specific, easy to withdraw, or no dark patterns, or no force consent. A 5. Data protection officer, a DPO. Certain organizations, especially those processing large amounts of sensitive data, are required to appoint a data protection officer who oversees compliance with the GDPR and DPO requirement. Some organizations must appoint a data protection officer or a DPO, especially those handling large scale sensitive data or monitoring individuals. The DPO oversees compliance and act as a bridge between the company and regulators. 6. Data breach notifications. Organization must notify relevant authorities of data breaches within 72 hours of discovery and, in some cases, inform affected individuals. Data breach notification under the GDPR. If a company suffers a data breach, it must notify regulation within 72 hours. If the breach poses a high risk, affected individuals must also be informed. 7. Penalties for non-compliance. Violation of the GDPR can result in severe penalties, fines up to 20 million euro or 4% of the global annual turnover. I repeat, fines up to 20 million euro or 4% of the global annual turnover, whichever is higher for the most serious violations. Lower tier, fines up to 10 million euro or 2% of the global turnover for less severe infractions. I again repeat, lower tier, fines up to 10 million euro or 2% of the global turnover for less severe infractions. Penalties and enforcement. Now here is where GDPR gets serious. Violation can lead to massive penalties. These fines are designed to ensure companies respect privacy and not treat it as an afterthought. Fines 20 million euro or 4% of the global turnover, 10 million euro or 2% for less serious violations. I again repeat, fines 20 million euro or 4% of the global turnover, 10 million euro or 2% for less serious violations, penalties and enforcement 20 million euro or 4% of the global turnover, 10 million euro or 2% for less serious violations. 8. International data transfers. GDPR restricts the transfer of a personal data outside the EU, European Union, unless the destination country ensures an adequate level of data protection or appropriate safeguards are in place. For example, standard contractual clauses or binding corporate rules. Objective of the GDPR: strengthen individuals' control over their personal data, harmonize data protection laws across the EU, European Union, foster trust in the digital economy, promote accountability and transparency in data processing. The GDPR has set a global benchmark for privacy regulation and has influenced data protection laws in many other countries, shaping the way organizations worldwide handle personal data. Objective of the GDPR: strengthen individuals' control over their personal data, harmonize data protection laws across the EU, European Union, foster trust in the digital economy, promote accountability and transparency in data processing. The GDPR has set a global benchmark for privacy regulation and has influenced data protection laws in many other countries, shaping the way organizations worldwide handle personal data. Objectives of the GDPR. Why GDPR matters globally? GDPR is not just a law, it is a global standard. It influences privacy laws in India, Brazil, Japan, South Korea, the US, and many more. It builds the trust in the digital economy and force companies to respect user rights. GDPR, Global Privacy Benchmark. Conclusion, summary. So, this is the foundation of GDPR, one of the most important laws shaping the future of privacy and compliance. In the next episode, we will explore how GDPR connects with the EU AI Act, European Union Artificial Intelligence Act, and why both laws are crucial for modern businesses. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon. Your support motivates me to continue creating this masterclass for you. Lesson summary: the General Data Protection Regulation GDPR is the European Union's comprehensive data protection framework that governs how organizations collect, process, store, and share personal data of individuals in the EU with extraterritorial applicability effective since 25 May 2018. GDPR establishes strict principles for lawful, transparent, and secure data processing, grants individuals strong rights over their personal data, and requires organizations to demonstrate accountability through governance measures such as consent management, breach notification, and where applicable appointment of a data protection officer with a significant penalties of non-compliance and strict rules on international data transfers. GDPR has set a global benchmark for privacy regulation, strengthening individual rights, enhancing organizational accountability, and fostering trust and ethical innovation in the digital economy. The global significance of the Act, the global significance of the GDPR. The GDPR has reshaped global data protection by establishing a rigorous rights based framework that applies beyond European Union borders. Its extraterritorial reach, a strong enforcement mechanisms, and emphasis on accountability have made in the de facto global benchmark for privacy governance by influencing regulations worldwide and embedding principles such as transparency, individual rights, and privacy by design. The GDPR has elevated data protection from regional compliance requirement to a core pillar of the trust, ethical innovation, and a responsible digital growth across the global economy. The global significance of the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation or GDPR, is not just another European law. It is one of the most influential data protection framework ever created, and it has reshaped privacy standard across the world. What makes the GDPR truly global is its extraterritorial reach. In a simple terms, the GDPR applies even outside the European Union (EU). If an organization offers goods or services to people in the EU, European Union, or monitors their behavior, the GDPR applies. No matter where that organization is located, this single principle transformed GDPR from regional regulation into a global privacy law. At its core, the GDPR is a rights base. At the core, the GDPR is a rights base. It puts individuals back in the control of their personal data by granting powerful rights, such as the right to access, correct, delete, and restrict the use of their information. For the first time at a scale, individuals become active participants in a data governance, not passive data subjects. Another major reason for GDPR global impact is strong enforcement with the penalties of up to 4% of a global annual turnovers, mandatory breach notification, and regulatory audits. Privacy became a boardroom, boardroom level responsibility. And this force organizations worldwide to take data protection seriously. Over time, the GDPR emerged as the global benchmark for privacy regulation. Many countries modeled their own laws on GDPR principles, including India's dpia, Brazil's LGPD, and California's privacy law CCPA, and several emerging regulations across Asia and Africa. The GDPR also introduced the concept of privacy by design and by default. This means privacy must be built into systems, products, and technologies from the very beginning, including cloud platforms and AI systems. Privacy is no longer an afterthought, it is a design requirement. Ultimately, the GDPR transformed data protection from a legal checkbox into a foundation of a trust, ethical innovation, and responsible digital growth. Organizations that embrace GDPR principles don't just avoid fines, they build trust, strengthen credibility, and prepare for privacy, a first digital failure. That is the true global significance of the GDPR. One global law, not just a European one. One of the most powerful aspects of the GDPR is its extraterritorial reach. This means the GDPR applies the for beyond the borders of the European Union (EU). If an organization offers goods or services to people in the European Union (EU) or monitor the behavior of individuals located in the EU European one, then GDPR applies regardless of where that organization is based, whether in India, the US, or anywhere else in the world. These single provisions turn GDPR into a truly global regulation. 2. Rights-based privacy framework. The GDPR places individuals' rights at the center of data protection. It gives people enforceable rights such as the right to access their data, the right to rectification and erase, the right to restrict or object to processing, the right to data portability. For the first time at scale, individuals became active participants, not passive data sources. This shifted power from organizations back to individuals. 3. A strong enforcement changed corporate behavior. Unlike earlier privacy laws, GDPR introduced first severe financial penalties up to 4% of the global turnover, mandatory breach notifications, regulatory audits and investigations. These enforcement mechanisms ensured that privacy was no longer optional or symbolic. Privacy became a boardroom issue, not just a legal checkbox. 4. The global benchmark for privacy laws. Because of its strength and clarity, GDPR quickly became the reference model for the new data protection laws worldwide. Many global regulations now mirror GDPR principles, including first, our favorite data protection law, India has a dpia, second, Brazil's LGPD, third, California's CPRA, fourth, emerging laws across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. GDPR effectively set the global privacy standard. 5. Privacy by design and accountability. The GDPR require organization to first embed privacy by design and by default. Second, demonstrate accountability through documentation, DPIAs, and governance structures. Privacy is no longer something added later. It must be built into systems, products, and AI models from day one. This directly influences innovation, product design, and AI development. 6. From compliance to trust and ethical innovation. Ultimately, GDPR transformed data protection from cross regional legal obligation into a global pillar of a trust, ethics, and a responsible digital growth. Organizations that comply with the GDPR don't just avoid fines, they first build customer trust, second, enable responsible AI and data use, third, strengthen long term brand credibility. One line summary for viewers. The GDPR elevated privacy from European compliance rule to a global foundation for trust, ethical innovation, and responsible digital growth. GDPR did not just change Europe, it changed how the world protects data. Anil Patil, certified fellow of privacy technology from OneTrust, USA. Question first: what is the GDPR and when did it come into effect? Answer: the General Data Protection Regulation GDPR is a comprehensive data privacy and protection law enacted by the European Union EU to regulate the collection, processing, storage, and sharing of personal data. It comes into effect on 25th May 2018 and is considered one of the world's most stringent privacy regulation. Question 2: who does the GDPR apply to and what type of data does it cover? Answer: the GDPR applies to organization operating within the EU and to organization outside the EU, European Union, and that process personal data of individuals located in the European Union. It covers all types of personal data, including names, email addresses, IP addresses, health data, and financial information. Question 3: what are the core principles of the GDPR? Answer: the core principles of the GDPR include lawfulness, fairness, and transparency. Purpose limitation, data minimization, accuracy, storage limitation, integrity, and confidentiality and accountability. These principles ensure that personal data is processed responsibly and securely. Question 4: what rights does the GDPR provide to individuals and data subjects? Answer: GDPR grants individuals rights such as the right to access, rectification, erasure, right to be forgotten, restriction of processing, data portability, objection to processing, and rights related to automated decision making and profiling. Question 5: what are the consequences of non-compliance with the GDPR? Answer: non-compliance with the GDPR can result in significant penalties, including fines up to 20 million euro or 4% of the global annual turnover for serious violations and up to 10 billion euro or 2% of the global turnover for less severe infringements. I again repeat, including fines up to 20 million euro or 4% of the global annual turnover for serious violations, up to 10 million euro or 2% of global turnover for less severe infringements. Explanation. Question 1. What is GDPR and when did it come into effect? Explain simply. Personal data means any information that can identify a person directly or indirectly. GDPR officially came into force on 25th May 2018 and it completely changed how organizations treat personal data. GDPR is considered one of the most stringent and enforceable privacy laws in the world. Explanation. Question 2. Who does GDPR apply to and what data does it cover? Answer. GDPR applies to first, organizations operating inside the EU, European Union. Second, organizations outside the EU, European Union. If they process data, EU, European Union residents. For real life example, if an Indian, US, Middle East company collects data from EU, European Union customers, GDPRs apply to them as well. Explanation. Question 3. What are the core principles of the General Data Protection Regulation GDPR? Answer. General Data Protection Regulation GDPR is built on seven core principles. I repeat, seven core principles. Think of this as the rule organizations must follow when handling data. Explanation. 1. Lawfulness, fairness, and transparency. Data must be processed legally, fairly, and openly. Second, purpose limitation. Data should only be collected for specific and legitimate purposes. Third, data minimization. Only collect data what is necessary. 4. Accuracy. Data must be correct and up to date. 5. A storage limitation. Data should not be kept longer than necessary. 6. Integrity and confidentiality. Data must be secure and protected from breaches. 7. Accountability. Organization must prove compliance, not just claim it. Explanation. Question 4. Rights of individuals. Data subject rights. Answer. One of the strongest pillars of GDPR is individual rights. GDPR shifts power from organizations to people. First, a right to access. Individuals can ask, what data do you have about me? Second, a right to rectification. They can correct incorrect or incomplete data. Third, a right to erasure, a right to be forgotten. They can request deletion of their data in certain situations. Four, right to restrict processing. They can limit how data is used. Five, a right to data portability. They can take their data to another service provider. Six, a right to object, especially for marketing or profiling. Seven, rights against automated decisions. People can challenge a decision made only by algorithms or AI, artificial intelligence. Explanation. Question 5. Consequences of non-compliance. Answer. The GDPR violations can lead to first up to 20 million euro or 4% of the global annual turnover. Second, lesser violations 10 million euro or 2% of the global turnover. Important insight. These fines apply globally, not just in Europe. I again repeat. First, up to 20 million euro or 4% of the global annual turnover. Second, lesser violations 10 million euro or 2% of the global turnover. Important insights. This fines applies globally, not just in Europe. Closing summary. To summarize, first, GDPR protects personal data. Second, applies globally. Third, enforces strict principles. Fourth, empowers individuals. Fifth, imposes heavy penalties for non-compliance. GDPR is not just as a law, it is a global privacy standard. Thank you for attention. Welcome to Privacy Prodigy, your trusted destination for free learning on global data privacy, data protection, and AI governance. 7. Penalties for non-compliance. Violation of the GDPR can result in severe penalties, fines up to 20 million euro or 4% of the global annual turnover. I repeat, fines up to 20 million euro or 4% of the global annual turnover, whichever is higher for the most serious violations. lower tier fines up to 10 million euro or 2% of the global turnover for less severe infractions. I again repeat, lower tier fines up to 10 million euro or 2% of the global turnover for less severe infractions. Penalties and enforcement 20 million euro or 4% of the global turnover, 10 million euro or 2% for less serious violations. Expert led courses on GDPR, dpia 2025, the EU AI Act, CCPA, AIGP, and global best practices. Our mission is simple: to help professionals and organizations build privacy first, compliant, and responsible AI programs. Thank you for joining us today. Stay private, stay safe, and stay secure. Only with privacy Prodigy. गोपनीयतेचा अवलक्षण. If you found this session valuable, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to activate the notification bell so you never miss our future insights on EU AI Act, GDPR, CCPA, DPDPA, cybersecurity awareness, data privacy and protection, and also regulatory compliance.